Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, and we're going to bring out a class about doing things decently and in order. 2nd Ezra 14, verse 13.
2nd Ezra 14, verse 13. Now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
And this is Yahweh Shai speaking through the prophet Ezra, telling us to renounce corruption. So if there's things that are contrary to the Bible that we see going on, we're supposed to renounce those things. Titus 1, 1 through 2.
Titus 1, 1 through 2. Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Hamashiach Yahushai, according to the faith of God's elect, and the acknowledging of the truth, which is after godliness, and hope of eternal life, which God that cannot lie, promised before the world began.
So these things that were written in the scriptures, this is things that were written from the foundation of the world, and none of it is a lie. This is why he said he's the Lord thy God. He lies, he changeth not, says it in the book of Malachi. He doesn't change, and everything he said is the truth. Titus 1, 13 through 16.
Verse 13 through 16. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men, that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled.
So he's letting us know that, unto the pure all things are pure. If people have a pure heart, they're supposed to be doing things according to the scriptures, not according to what they think. He said in the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, he said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor your ways his ways. So we're supposed to do it according to his ways. Read on.
They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate.
And a lot of people, they say they know God or they love God, but in their works and their actions of how they live their lives, it's not coinciding with the scriptures. They're denying him by the way they're living their lives. This is all lip service. This is what he says in Proverbs 26, I believe, how he says people like to dissemble at the lips. But a lot of people, they saying this, but they're not doing it. Read on.
That's it.
1 John 2, 3 through 6.
1 John 2, 3 through 6. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we keep his commandments.
This is how you know if you know the Most High God. He says if you keep his commandments. He's telling you himself. Read.
He that saith I know him, and keepeth not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him.
So anybody saying that they know the Most High, but they're not doing these things he says in the Bible, he's saying they're a liar. And he's saying the truth is not in him. He's saying this himself. Read on.
But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of God perfected. Hereby know we that we are in him.
So this is how you know if you're keeping the laws. Then, see, if you're keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments, then you're walking in that perfection. This is what makes you perfect. This is why Christ said in Matthew 5 and 48, to be therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect.
He that saith he abideth in him ought himself also so to walk, even as he walked.
So if you're saying that you have this relationship with him, he's saying you should walk as he walked, as Yahushua walked. He's saying this himself. So there's no way around this. If you're not doing what he says, he's saying that you're a liar. This is what he's saying himself. Is that it? Matthew 18, 19 through 20.
Matthew 18, 19 through 20. Matthew 18, 19 through 20. Again, I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
And he's given us a stipulation on how we're supposed to even come and bring this word too. He's saying where 2 or more gathered together in his name, there he is in the midst. He's telling us how we're supposed to even do this when we bring out the scriptures. He says he's in the midst with two or more gathered together in his name. Read on.
Through 20?
2:20.
That's it.
1 John 2, 9 through 11.
1 John 2, 9 through 11. He that saith he is in the light and hateth his brother is in darkness even until now.
Anyone saying that they're in the light, but they hate their brothers, or they hate anybody, any family members, or anybody, he's saying that you're in the dark. Read.
Is in the darkness even until now. He that loveth his brother abideth in the light, and there is none occasion of stumbling in him.
Because if you love in your brothers, love is the he says love is perfecting the law when you're doing love, because that's what Christ was saying. He left us with one last commandment. He said to love one another. But people that don't love one another, they have some serious issues going. Read.
But he that hateth his brother is in darkness, and walketh in darkness, and knoweth not whither he goeth, because that darkness hath blinded his eyes.
And see, they think that they know God, but they're really walking in the darkness. And that darkness has blinded them. This is why Christ said in Ephesians, wake up, sleepers, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give thee light. But anybody that has that hate, and they're dealing with that, they haven't come to the light. They've never seen him nor known him. Read on.
That's it.
1 John 3, 14 through 16.
1 John 3, 14 through 16. We know that we have passed from death until life, because we love the brethren.
So he's saying something here. He says, we know that we passed from death to life, because we love the brethren. So if you're still abiding in hate, you have no life. Christ actually says you're a murderer. Read.
He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. Whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer, and ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him.
He says nobody that hates like this is a murderer, and they have no life. They have nothing coming from him. They're going with the imaginations of their own evil hearts. This is all they're doing. But they're not going to get the kingdom. This is what Christ is saying. Read on. 1 Timothy 3, 16.
Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren.
So he laid his life, he laid his body up, put his body as that sacrificial lamb. So he's saying because he did this, we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. We got to do the things he said in the Bible. We have to love each other. We have to do charity. We have to fast. We have to pray. We have to keep the Sabbath. We have to do all these things that he said. But a lot of people have problems with this. So they're not in the light. They're abiding in death to this very hour. 1 Timothy 3, 12 through 16.
1 Timothy 3, 12 through 16. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own houses well. For they that have used the office of a deacon will purchase to themselves a good degree and great boldness in the faith, which is in a Mashiach Yahushai. These things write I unto thee, hoping to come unto thee shortly. But if I tarry long, that thou mayest know how thou oughtest to behave thyself in the house of God, which is the church of the living God, the pillar and ground of the truth. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believing on in the world, received up into glory.
So this is him giving us instructions on anybody that's trying to lead a body of people and trying to be, work. You want to be a leader of the house of God. He's saying you have to have your house in order. He's saying the deacons here, but this is really this path in this chapter. He's addressing the bishops. He's addressing people that are leading the church. So if your house is not in order, you shouldn't be doing this. This is what he's really saying. You have to have your house in order to be leading. And if it's something that you have to, with your children or your wife, you have to fix those issues. You have to do these things. This is what he's saying. Is that it?
Yeah.
1 Timothy 3, 12 through 16. Or Proverbs 27, verse 5.
Proverbs 27 and verse 5. Proverbs 27 and verse 5. Open rebuke is better than secret love.
See, this is love. Telling people the scriptures and to get them corrected or reproved. This is what love is. And then open rebuke is better than secret love. This is what he's saying here. So sometimes this may not feel right, but it's to build you up and to edify you so that you can live a righteous life. Read on.
That's good.
That was Proverbs.
27.
Ecclesiastes 7 and 5.
Ecclesiastes 7 and 5. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools.
So he's saying it again. It's better to hear the rebuke of the wise than to hear the song of fools. So getting a reproof or correction is not a bad thing. This is what we're supposed to do as the body. People in the body, they're supposed to be building each other up. And if there's something they're going off with, we're supposed to tell them so that we can get the blood off of our hands. 1 Corinthians 14 and 33.
1 Corinthians?
Yep, 14 and 33.
1 Corinthians 14 and verse 33.
And then jump to verse 40.
And 40. For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints.
See, he's not the author of confusion. He's given us straight commandments. They're crystal clear. But a lot of people, they want to just take bits and pieces and do the parts they want. They don't want to eat this whole roll, like he said in Ezekiel. Eat the whole roll. Read on.
Verse 40, let all things be done decently and in order.
He said to let all things be done decently and in order. He didn't say some things. He said let all things. Is that it?
Yes.
Deuteronomy 22, verse 12.
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 12. Thou shalt make thee fringes upon the four quarters of thy vesture, wherewith thou coverest thyself.
So he's telling, this is a law that he told us. He told us to keep wearing the fringes. This was a perpetual covenant throughout our generations that he told us to do this. He told us fringes. He didn't say the tzitzits. He told us to wear the fringes. Now, if people want to wear them with the fringes, I don't see an issue with that. But just tzitzits, that's not what it says. He says to wear the fringes. Read on.
That's it.
Numbers 15, verse 38.
Numbers 15 and verse 38. Speak unto the children of Israel and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue.
So we're still generating. Our people are still generating. He said to do this throughout our generations. And he said to put a border of blue. And this is supposed to go around the whole shirt or the woman's dress, around the whole dress. This is what he's saying. Read.
And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring.
So he's telling us to do, these are as a reminder. See, Christ said he was going to teach us all things and bring it back to our remembrance. So if people have a problem remembering the commandments, they can look at their fringes. And then they'll know to do all these things that he said to do in the Bible. Isaiah 40, verse 21.
Isaiah 40 and verse 21. Have ye not known? Have ye not heard? Hath it not been told you from the beginning? Have ye not understood from the foundations of the earth? It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth.
So it is he that sits up there upon the circle of the earth. And this is even getting into the fringes too. How they're supposed to go all the way around. This is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth. Read on.
And the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in.
So he's saying how he's the one that created the heavens and the earth. So we have to do things according to what he said from the foundation of the world. It's not what we want or what we think. This is about what the Most High put in place. These are the laws, statutes, and commandments from the beginning. 1 Chronicles 9 and 24.
1 Chronicles 9 verse 24. And four quarters were the porters toward the east, west, north, and south.
This is getting into the fringes again, going around. This is all around with the border of blue. This is getting into the fringes. How he wants us to keep this as a perpetual covenant. He didn't change. He says, I am the Lord thy God. I change not. That's what he said through the prophet Malachi. He didn't change. But someone did change the truth of God into a lie here. And this is why we have to go out to the highways to debunk all these lies. And we have to bring out this truth. Is that it? Exodus 23 and 2.
Exodus 23 verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many, to wrest judgment.
So that through Moses here, he's saying that you shouldn't follow a multitude to do evil. Just because other people are doing this, you shouldn't do it. You should stick to the script. This is sticking to the scriptures. Christ was telling Peter and Matthew and all of them, he said, just follow me. We have to follow him, not follow men. We can listen to a man if he's going according to the scriptures, but if they're going off, no, we got to stick to the script. Proverbs 3 and 31.
Proverbs 3 and verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
So he's telling us not to envy the oppressor. And he's telling us not to choose none of their ways. Because the Amaleks wanted to start the Zizit. The stuff that they're doing, we're not supposed to follow behind our enemies, our natural born adversaries. We're not supposed to follow behind them. We're supposed to stick to the script. That Leviticus 18, 3 through 5.
Leviticus 18, 3 through 5. After the doings of the land of Egypt wherein ye dwelt shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do. Neither shall ye walk in their ordinances. Ye shall do my judgments, and keep mine ordinances, to walk therein. I am the Lord your God. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord.
So this is Yahweh speaking through Moses from the foundation. This is from the beginning, saying that we're supposed to do the things he said in these laws, statutes, and commandments. We're supposed to keep doing this so we can live. This is what Yahshua was saying too. We have to choose this day as to whom we're going to serve. But as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Most High God. We're going to do what God says. We ought to obey God rather than men. This is why Apostle Paul said that. He was going back to this. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Colossians 2, 8 through 10.
Colossians 2, 8 through 10. Colossians 2, 8 through 10. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ.
So people have to be mindful and be wise as a serpent, and not follow after the traditions of men and the rudiments of the world. He's getting into it with Apostle Paul here, and said we have to follow after Yahushua. Read.
For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power.
Yeah, he's the head over all the principalities. He's the preeminence of the presidents, the governors, the mayor. He trumps all of them. Trump. He's above all these people. He's above us all. Romans 12, 1 through 2.
Romans 12, 1 through 2. I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So he's telling us through Apostle Paul again that we're not supposed to be conformed to this world. We're supposed to do what he says. We're not supposed to get into the pagan things. We're not supposed to follow envy our oppressors. We're not supposed to do any of those things that they're doing. We're supposed to stick to the straight commandments that he gave us from the foundation of the world. 1 Corinthians 6, verse 12.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse number 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I'll not be brought under the power of any.
So Paul is saying that all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. And he's also saying that he's not going to be brought under subjection to anything that's contrary to the scriptures. Paul is saying he's just going to keep doing what Christ did. He's going to follow him. He's not going to follow no man. He wanted to take Yahushai's place. He was saying that he wished he wasn't cursed. And he wished he could have been the one to die on the cross. But a lot of people, they want to do what they want. They want to go with the imaginations of their own hearts and not after Yahushai. Sirach 20, 1 through 3.
Sirach 20, 1 through 3. There is a reproof that is not comely. Again, some man holdeth his tongue, and he is wise. It is much better to reprove than to be angry secretly, and he that confesseth his fault shall be preserved from hurt. How good is it when thou art reproved to shew repentance, for so shalt thou escape willful sin.
So he's saying that it's a good thing to get corrected. This is what he's saying to Sirach. He's saying this is a good thing when you get corrected or reproved, because this is to build you up and edify you so that you can get it right, so you're not in those sins. Sirach 21, 10 through 11.
Sirach 21, 10 through 11. The way of sinners is made plain with stones, but at the end thereof is the pit of hell. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof, and the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom.
So what is wisdom? He said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. He said a good understanding have all they that do God's commandments. So this is when you become wise. People that are just doing anything they want, they're not being wise. He's actually saying they're being fools. Sirach 27, verse 1, and then jump to 3.
Sirach 27 and verse 1 and 3. Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. Verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall be overthrown.
So if a man's not doing what God says according to the scriptures, his house is going to be overthrown. It's just a matter of time, because he wants all things done decently and in order. He's saying this is what this whole lesson is about. Doing all things decently and in order. That's what this is about. Sirach 5, verse 7.
Sirach 5 verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance.
So people getting too comfortable doing what they want, he's saying this himself. He said not to put it off from day to day, because in your security, you're going to be destroyed. So if you don't get it right, this is the Most High saying it through Sirach, that you're going to get destroyed. It's just a matter of time. And then we're in those perilous times. We have to get it right, or we have to choose death or life. That's what it is. Sirach 2, 15 through 18.
Sirach 2, 15 through 18. They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word.
See, those that fear the Lord, you're not going to disobey his word. You're going to do those things that are pleasing in his sight. Read.
And they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well pleasing unto him. And they that love him shall be filled with the law.
And all those that love him, you're going to be filled with the law. This is why he said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. Yahushua said that in the book of John. So this is about keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and doing things decently and in order. Revelations. Oh, go ahead.
They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their soul in his sight, saying, we will fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy.
So it's just, he is merciful to us. If we fall, we're supposed to get up. We're not supposed to go back, stay back in that mud and the mire. So if you do make a mistake, you're supposed to learn from it, correct it, and then fix your problem and do what God says. You're not supposed to keep doing the same things that you did before. You don't go back to the mud or be like the dog returning to his old vomit. You have to change. Revelations 22, 14 through 15.
Revelations 22, 14 through 15. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and make it a lie.
So this right here is the warning at the end. This is Yahweh Shai warning us in Revelations, the last book. He said, blessed are they that do the commandments, so that they may have right to the tree of life and enter into the gates, into the city. So this is serious business. And with that, we're going to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Shem HaMashiach, Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.